how's it going? Let me make sure everything is working good. For some reason, my Spotify little mini thing, I have to like fix it every time. I'll have to figure out a way to do that. But okay, it's there. I like how now it's a little bit darker and like you can see the pink vibes a little bit more. I in no way, shape, or form want to be doing homework right now. But alas, I've been sitting here while the timer was going down to start the stream. I've been sitting here trying to figure out if this assignment is actually due today, and I can't find anything saying that it is. I'll do it for you. Hell yeah, you come in here, sit here, do some study, and then I'll go in there, play some video games, and I think it'll work. I think it'll be good. So I think the homework that I'm about to do is actually due Monday. It says, don't forget that the discussion board for Module 1 closes Monday night, but I literally cannot find anything saying like, oh, you have to do the discussion post by Saturday or something like that. I thought I did because in my calendar, I put that the discussions and replies were due today, but I wonder if I did that to make myself do them sooner, because I do that a lot. Like I just put something in my calendar due tomorrow that's actually due on Monday, but I like to trick myself into doing things earlier because otherwise I probably wouldn't. So moral of the story is I don't even think I actually have to be doing this right now. But I'm going to because I hate myself. All right. Yeah, I genuinely just can't find anything that says, oh, this is due. Because I went to the to-do list. No, it just says participate in discussion topics. Discussions for each module will remain open until the next day after the module closes. So, yeah, I think I'm just making myself suffer right now. But my neck is killing me. I just took ibuprofen and I used one of those heat pads that you put around your neck and shoulders, and I feel like it made it worse. I don't know how that's possible, but I feel it. So here's my thoughts. I will read the stuff I have to read for the discussion post and then see how I feel, because I have to do the reading first. If I read and then I'm like, okay, I'm dying, maybe I will save this for tomorrow's stream to finish. But if I read and I'm like, I can do this, it's fine, my ibuprofen's kicking in, all good, then we'll keep going. Deal? Listen to your body, people. Okay, so let me open up the readings for Module 1. I downloaded all of them already. I love doing readings on stream because it's just me like highlighting stuff. Love that. Let me see if I can move my keyboard. And then we'll move this in. Does this mess everything up? Everything we're working towards? I don't know, it's not like you guys can really see what I'm doing on here. It's kind of a bummer, but I guess you can assume. Right? I think it'll be fine. It'll be all good. Okay, so I'm gonna set our timer for 25 minutes. Actually, let's do 20 since I'm not feeling the most motivated. 20 minutes, and then we'll go from there. I'll just do some reading. And thanks, Cody, for following. That must be why you didn't get the notification, because it's on a separate Twitch channel. But yeah. Okie doke. Luckily, okay, sorry, I know I said I was done, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 things to read, but they don't seem super long. Like, they definitely seem like maybe 10 pages each, but it'll be okay. Oh. Where did I put the squishy? Odin might have taken the squishy. I have this one. It's a cloud. I feel like he probably took the squishy, not gonna lie. I dropped it somewhere. Can I borrow your fidget cube? Thank you. Sometimes it's hard to just sit and read textbooks for like a certain amount of time. Like I could sit and read a fantasy book for a certain amount of time, but reading just a textbook can get a little fidgety. I wonder if you can hear this on stream. I'm sure you can. It's a fidget cube. Can you hear this? Or this one? It's like ASMR. Probably just do the spinning one. Can you hear the spinning one? Slightly. This is so fun. Why don't you use this more? Oh, you have your fidget ring. You should get me one of those. You were gonna, and then I think you found the other one instead. Okay, finished reading the first one. So that's a win. Okay, break number 1. Let's see. So I finished reading the first one. I think I said I had 9 to read, right? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so I have 8 left. Yeah, the first one was kind of interesting. It was about the role of library catalogs. I thought this portion was so interesting. It says, libraries, let's see, early catalogs varied by order, but most were simply lists specifically intended to inventory valuable property. So imagine like your library catalog is just an inventory of property. And it says books represented wealth, and so complete and accurate accounts of holdings were necessary to monitor and control the wealth. So not in a way that like traditional, so like nowadays our modern library catalogs are supposed to help patrons basically find what they need and help them explore new items as well that relate to what they asked for. So like suggested materials. Instead, it would be as if maybe like an archive collection, they would have an accurate account of every appraisal of every item they have. So if like books represented wealth because being able to read represented being like higher up in society, then you would have an accurate account of the books that you have because that is kind of part of your assets. It would be kind of like your liquid assets, your knowledge domain. But it wasn't necessarily like, oh, books represent knowledge, which represents intelligence, which represents like being higher up in society. It was more in just the way of like, I own books, you don't, I'm wealthy. Really interesting. And apparently it has a lot to do with like the rise of Christianity in the Western world. I thought that was really cool. You know, just a little tidbit for you guys. I mean, all of this is pretty much just about what is the catalog for? What has it been for in the past and what can it be for in the future? But I guess I never thought about it because I was just like, well, it's a catalog. Like, you want to know what books you have, you want to know where they are and when they're going there. So that's just how it made sense to me. But I guess I never like had sat there and been like, well, what can a catalog really establish? Like, what is it really for? I just never cared, I guess. Which is weird, because I guess I should have, because I'm the one cataloging a lot. Let's see. Somebody even said, let's see. Hi, Odin. This one says, perhaps the catalog should express the core values of libraries. And it's like, well, how can a catalog express core values of a library? Like, how? Sorry, I'm still fidgeting with this. It's so fun. But, like, how would you have your core values in a catalog of your items? I guess it could be, okay, well, you have a lot of diverse materials. You have a lot of LGBT stuff. In that case, I can see how your core values of your library would be diversity and inclusion, so that would be reflected in your catalog. I have questions. Maybe I should just be writing my discussion post right now since I have so much to discuss. I don't know if any of this is interesting to you guys, but it's interesting to me. If you go to a library, I mean, it's definitely a thought-provoking thing. Huh. Anyway, it's been about 5 minutes. Instead of just setting a timer, I was just watching my time on my laptop. So it worked. So I will start our next 20-minute work sesh. Good luck. Have fun. Odin has a treat. All right, next one. If you can't tell from my face, I'm reading something really weird. Okay, I know we have a minute, 12 minutes for this, but I read something I really want to talk about now. This article that I just finished is about how library cataloging can, how do I word this? How library cataloging can basically help promote items from marginalized communities, which I'm all for. But the ways that they go about saying that we should do this are pretty, I don't want to say like problematic in themselves, but definitely not how I would go about it. So, for example, one idea that they have is that they should have a new library catalog that advocates for diversity and exposes library users and readers to resources from populations traditionally marginalized in literature. It goes on to kind of explain that when you search anything, such as like, if I searched childhood, right? If I searched childhood, the catalog would promote items from marginalized communities. So if the author identifies as LGBTQIA, if the author is a person of color, it would basically promote those items. But the way that they state it is saying that it literally says designing a system where the white heteronormative male author is not promoted. But I'm a little confused because does that mean that their stuff just doesn't come up at all? Like, I can see making it more accessible to find diverse materials. I think that's amazing. But I can't see, basically, if something is popular, that's usually what goes on top of the library catalog, would be the popular items, the most read, the most well awarded, whatever. Like, those would pop up first, and it seems odd to say that those items wouldn't be promoted anymore with this system. I don't know. That one, okay. But then this one, I just like... This one says that instead of labeling diverse materials with labels, like we do labels for LGBTQIA sometimes in libraries, or we'll do labels for important people of color items, like we'll label them as, you know, a way of promoting them. But this suggests that instead of promoting those materials by labeling them, we would instead label the cis, white, hetero, able-bodied male category. So instead of labeling to promote items, now we would be labeling to defer people from them. And I just think that's upsetting. I don't know, that doesn't make any sense. Because anything that I would promote in a way. So the labels in the library, there are no labels that should be deferring anyone from reading them. Like, I don't have labels saying, like, you know, 1-star book, you know, not suggested by me or anything like that. So it's really weird to, like, bring up the idea of labeling something to defer people from it. I don't know. I get what they're trying to go for, because they're saying to flip the narrative and make cis the other, which I understand the premise. I understand where they're coming from and why the author, of this article. I understand where their brain went to find that idea. But again, I definitely don't think there should ever be labels to defer anyone from anything at the library. I don't know. Weird. Yeah. Definitely interesting. I'm sure that I mean, to me, it feels like I will lean towards things by LGBTQIA plus authors. Like, I will see those labels and I will be excited about it and be like, wow, I just created a graphic novels collection for teens at the public library I did an internship at. And I got a lot of diverse materials. I got, there was this really amazing comic. I can't remember what it's called. But I got this really amazing comic. I think it was called Hair, but it was about different hair types of people of color. And it was such a beautiful comic. And then I got a lot of LGBTQIA stuff. There's like a Pride comic for, I think it was Marvel. No, it was DC. It was DC Pride 2021. And like a bunch of other really cool materials. And to me, like, if I saw those things and I saw those labels of like LGBTQIA, whatever, I would be more excited to see that. Whereas like this idea that this article has is to have labels that would make me feel like I shouldn't read it. I don't know. It's definitely interesting to think about. It's definitely something to, you know, a conversation for sure to consider, which I guess is why I'm gonna discuss it in my discussion posts. But yeah, I just thought I'd share that. I thought it was an interesting thing. I'm definitely glad I read it. What labels were on it? On what? On which part? On their idea in the article or on the series that I did? Shy, thanks for subbing with Prime. I appreciate it. That sounds super interesting. Yeah, really interesting. The article. So in the article, their idea was that instead of labeling LGBTQIA plus items and diverse materials with positive labels of like, you know, this is written by an LGBT author, those are positive labels where I would be like, okay, like I want to read that. That's exciting. they would instead label books and items that are by cis, white, hetero, able-bodied males. I just read it word for word. They would instead label those materials in a negative way. So to them, the idea of this article was to flip the narrative and make the cis the other, which I can see how their brain got there, but I just don't think that there should be any materials in a library that have stickers or labels to defer you from reading them. I think that's, I don't know. I think I would much rather have the labels that excite you and like relate to you personally, where you're like, oh, I relate to this author, I want to read it, instead of labels that would make you feel bad for reading them, or like you shouldn't. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. Really interesting article, though. It's definitely a conversation. We love Prime subs here. We do. Thank you again, Shy. So cool. Sorry, I just went on a little tangent. I have a lot of feelings about libraries and cataloging and how I want the patron to feel when they come in the library. I think it's like when an indie game comes out, one of the big selling points is that it's an indie game. AAA games don't really go with big corporation approach, if you get me. Yeah, exactly. It would be like not labeling indie games as indie games, and instead every other game we put a label on it that says not an indie game. So don't label indie games as indie games, but call everything else not indie. It's weird. It's a weird thought. I don't know. It's definitely odd. Because, like, seeing something as an indie game is like, wow, I'm excited. Like, that's really cool. I want to do that. But instead, it's like putting the negative on the other things that aren't that. Yeah. I really like that connection. That's a really good connection. Big brain. Okay. I guess it's pretty much break now after I just talked and rambled. What are you guys working on? How's it going? What are you doing, Noah? How was Andy's? And Shy, I love that you're using the emote. I drew that one. I drew all my emotes, I think. Let me look. What emotes do I got? Oh, not the like little purple ones. Those are ones that come with, like, Twitch offers them. I drew the deer, the elf, and the shield. White claws. Congrats. I need to make new emotes, and I need to design my, like, study font stuff. I just haven't been doing it. It's already almost 8 o'clock. I can't stand this. You know, I don't like White Claws. You already know this, but for anyone that doesn't, I'm so scared of carbonation. Like, the bubbles, they freak me out. They kind of, like, just make me feel like there's something in my throat. There's, like, a tickle, a cough. It's uncomfortable. Like, any soda I drink, I let my soda go flat before I drink it. Really odd. Super weird. Let me see what this next one is. So the last two that I read were by the same author, which is interesting because this one I just read does not come off as the same as the last one that I read. Like, it doesn't come off as the same author. This one came off a little more, I don't want to say angry, but a little more pointed, I guess, at libraries in the way that they catalog. Whereas the last one was kind of more of like, okay, well, libraries could do better with what their catalog is used for. There could be more benefits than they're seeing. So, I don't know. Yeah, the articles didn't really seem the same style. Hostile, yeah, still sounds intense, but it's closer to what I'm meaning. Let's see. Yeah, this next one is by them too. And this one has to do with tricksterism and social justice. I'm not sure what tricksterism is, but I guess we will find out. Yeah. I am going to start our next 20 minutes so I can get on reading this. But I am going to just put on the Be Right Back screen really quick and go to the bathroom. Enjoy. Oh, I'm muted. Sorry, I was just saying I had a really good thought while I was gone, and oh, what was it? It was so good. I was gonna say that people might also see the labels. So, like, with the article, they wanted to do the labels for cis-normative items. People might also see that as a way to promote those items and be really offended by that. Because libraries usually would never label something to deter you from reading it, people might actually consider you labeling that as a way to promote those materials over diverse materials, which would be negative. I think it would come off wrong. Yeah, that was a good thought. Okay, moving on. We're reading the next thing. Let's set the timer for 20 minutes, and good luck, have fun. Oh, Crips Live, thanks for following. Oh, my dog is playing. Odin is mad that you left him in here, just so you know. He doesn't want to hang out with Mom while she reads. Okay, hello, break time. So reading this one is interesting as well, but I think this one is a little more clear on what the first part of the last essay meant. So the part where they were saying that they wanted to not suggest items from the heteronormative author. They wanted to have you search on a library catalog and have diverse authors pop up. This one goes into that a little bit more because I felt like the last one, that was not worded very well, to where to me it sounded really iffy, because to me you should be promoting popular materials, and I can definitely see implementing a program where diverse materials would come up even if they weren't as popular. I think that would be great. But the way that the last one worded it is that the heteronormative authors' materials would not be promoted at all. This one actually goes into it a little bit more and explains that let me find that part. Where is it? There was a specific line that I highlighted that I thought was really good. Okay. Their aim is not to exclude the resources in the white male canon, but to mitigate their primacy in search results. What that basically means is that they don't want to exclude those authors. They just want to promote diverse authors a little bit more, is what it seems like to me. I still think that what's popular should be appearing first, because I personally, like, when I go to a library or a library catalog, I expect to have what's the most popular and most relevant to my search pop up first. Unfortunately, that does mean that a lot of smaller authors, being diverse or not, don't appear as high up on that list. But I do think there's a way where we can have a sidebar or like an area where these items are popping up more often despite having a lower popularity, but not by mitigating the popular items, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think this one went a lot more into like how they want it done, and luckily that does not mean completely removing all of these necessary pieces of knowledge. So I think that's good. Yeah, a lot better than their first argument in the last article, for sure. But yeah, I don't know how you do it, but I think there's a way. I think there's a way that we can promote diverse materials without demoting other popular materials as well. It's definitely something to think about. Yeah, very interesting, very cool. How are you guys? What are you up to? I'm getting tired. It's 8:20. Normally I'm getting ready for bed right now because I usually work at 7:30 in the morning, so I have to leave by 7. Drive a half an hour. Yeah, but it's Saturday. It is Saturday, right? Thank God. Yeah. Woo, it's a lot of reading. Let's see. I have to finish this one, and then I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more. I might finish this one. Let's see what the discussion board has for me. I'm wondering if these ones that I read are enough for me to discuss, or if I need to just go through and read all of them. I mean, barely any of these really discuss what I just read, which is a bummer. What the heck? I doesn't seem like many of the options for discussion even have to do with the ones I read, which I was hoping they would, because I think they're definitely conversation starters. Functions of bibliographic tools, 3 enemies of cataloging, objects of catalog, next generation library catalogs. I guess that would probably go into that. Yeah, I think, yeah, in this one, Clark discusses the idea of the critical catalog and discusses the problems and challenges of categorizing identity. Yeah, I think I could do that one. And let's see, what else did I read? All the ones I've read are Clark so far. So, yeah, I still have to pretty much read all of them, it looks like. Let me see how much longer these ones are. So I think I only have, let's see, one. Oh gosh, I do have like 4 more pages of this one. Sorry, I'm talking through this with you guys. Buckland is 4 or 5 pages. Breeding is like 6. Coil, these are authors' names that I'm stating. I'm not just speaking in tongues. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, more like 6. 6. They're not super long. I think it's just a little bit exhausting reading so many different ideas together, if that makes sense. Like when you read a lot of different ideas in one sitting, and then it's like, okay, well, I just read this, this, and this about this. And now I'm going to go read this, this, and this about this other thing, and then I'm going to read this, this, and this about this other thing. Like, it's just, it gets a little, like, brain exhausting to think about all these ideas at once. I don't know if anyone else ever feels that way. It's like in high school when you start doing your math homework and then you switch to your English and then you switch to your science. Like, it just gets exhausting to, like, have your brain move in so many different directions. Yeah, that's definitely something I struggle with a little bit, but the fidget is definitely helping with me staying focused. Buy yourself a fidget cube off Amazon. I'm not sponsored, but this has been really good for me. Just being able to read and fidget with my hands a little bit definitely gets me through the articles a little bit easier, a little bit smoother, gives me a little bit more focus. It's been nice. I want to get, there's like fidgets that you can get where, I have some of the poppets. I have one right here actually. I totally forgot about this. Hang on, let me show you. If I can get it off of here, geez Louise. I might have stuck it on there too tight. Come here. Ha! I have these little poppets where you just sit and you like pop them, but I just feel like it doesn't do it for me. I don't know. It does it for a lot of people, but for me it's not really doing it for me. I like it. I think it's cute. I got it from the book fair when I ran the book fair. But I don't think it does it for me the same as like switches do, if that makes sense. Like keyboard switches. Oh, keyboard switches are amazing. They just like kind of feel good. Like this has this one, and then I really like these ones and the buttons. Don't know why. I think I like more noisy things. But there's also ones you can get where it's like a Chinese finger trap. Is that what they're called? I don't remember. It's kind of like that, but it's made out of like a kind of hard, wiry material. And then there's a marble in the center, and you just sit there moving the marble from side to side. And that seems really calming. I might get one of those. I really like fidgets. I love that we're in an age where they're just like so available for you to get fidgets. It's like so well known now that a lot of people struggle with focus. Even like kids that come into my library at school, they will be able to now have fidgets while they read. I ended up talking to some people about getting that to happen. Because I worked with the school daycare over the summer, and there was a lot of kids that if we watched a movie or something, it was really helpful to give them a fidget. And it would genuinely like help behavior so much. So I think that'll be really nice that if you need something while you're in the library while you read, it is available to you. So I think that'll be good. But I will be right back. I'm going to go on my be right back screen, and I'm just going to run to the bathroom, and I'm going to fill up my water too. Okay. Alright, hello, we are back. So I decided I'm gonna finish reading this one because the last two that I read and now halfway through this one are by the same author. I think it'll be good to sleep on these ones and just kind of ruminate on this author's ideas tonight for the discussion tomorrow. And then tomorrow I can finish reading the rest. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I can probably take some kind of break tomorrow as well in between reading these. So that'll be good. But right now it's just getting really late. So I'm going to finish reading this one. And I'll let you guys know when I'm done. It shouldn't be too long. And then we'll just chat a little and then, yeah. So I'm going to start our timers. Good luck. We're going to make it. We're going to survive. It's been a long work day. So now we've been streaming for, let's see. Where does it tell me that? Oh, an hour and a half. And then earlier today, I streamed for 3 hours. So overall today, I'm gonna be working for almost 5 hours. That's a lot. That's a lot coming back from summer and just jumping right in. But you gotta do it. Gotta get that master's. All right. Good luck, people. Oops. Well, I finished reading this. Let me do this. So I finished reading this article, the last one by this author. I have thoughts, but they are kind of jumbled because I feel like this one was a little, I want to say confusing. This was basically an attempt to adjust cataloging. How do I explain? It's such a weird thing they tried to do. So they tried to, basically when you go on a library catalog online, there are certain metadata that describe each item. So metadata can be like, okay, the year it was published, what genre it is, those types of things. So they tried to adjust the metadata to add the category of, I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry. To add the category of, thank you. This is written by a white cis male. So they were hoping to test out their theory of, the theory that I don't necessarily agree with, of keeping heteronormative authors lower on priority when searching for an item. So trying to promote more diverse materials over the heteronormative authors and their materials, despite what might have been published sooner or what might be more popular, which is the part that I don't necessarily agree with. So they tried a lot of ways to do this, and they didn't find any that necessarily worked. Most of the ways that they had would give the user the option to take away the white cis male authors. So that would be a user option. But they don't want it to be a user option because the idea that they have, let me find it. This did not meet the goals of our project as it requires a user to self-identify a need for diverse resources instead of promoting the surprise of self-recognition. It just seems, I don't know. They don't want the user to be looking for diverse materials. They want them to come upon them naturally because they are promoted more. I don't know why that matters. I guess so that you could have people that are not exposed to diverse materials find them and have interest in them naturally instead of having to go out and search for them, which I think that makes sense. That makes a little bit of sense. But Odin is like chewing his toy. Oh boy. But then the only way that they could find to make it work is to essentially change the year publication, the date publication for those items to make them older. So make them appear older, which is not true. It's falsifying information, which they even say themselves at the end. They say, let me find it. Our final artifact raises the question, did we falsify records or did we lay bare a limit in the system? Did we move the line of the standards of library catalogs? You changed the publication date of an item to make it less promoted. Like, that is falsifying information, truly. Like, I get what they were trying to do, but I mean, reading it, I just feel like the experiment or the project failed because in order to get what you wanted, you had to falsify publication dates. That just doesn't make sense. Like, if I want something, most of the time when you search something in a library catalog, it's going to appear with the newest or the most popular. I mentioned that earlier. So to falsify the publication dates is just, I don't know, it gets me a little bit heated because it is truly like a disservice to the author who has no intention of limiting diverse materials. Like, the author, most of the time, has no intention of becoming more popular than diverse materials or becoming newer than diverse materials. Like, it just seems like punishing these authors because our cataloging system could do better at promoting diverse materials. Does that make sense? I don't know. Interesting. I definitely am gonna sleep on it. I'm gonna ruminate a little bit and just think about it a little bit more before posting my discussion about it tomorrow. But it's definitely interesting to think about and consider, like, what our options are as far as all of that goes, and you know. I don't know, but I'm exhausted and I'm gonna make some dinner. So I'm gonna hop off stream for now. Thank you for stopping by. I am so glad that I have the stream to keep me motivated because I probably would not have done this otherwise. But I hope you all have a really nice night. Let me find someone to raid. I forgot to do that last time. Let's see. Let me do this. Refresh and then raid. And then this person is doing stuff, so let's raid them. I think it's another co-working stream, so say hello.